You're listening to the Ottawa Homeboys podcast, your go-to source for Ottawa real estate and everything in between. Now, here are your hosts, Aboozar Sheikhi, Dan Burton and Ahmad Hage Hassan. This podcast is about the real estate market in Ottawa and housing advice. But the advice may not apply to your situation. Contact the Homeboys or any licensed real estate professional for specific recommendations before you make decisions about your real estate needs.
Welcome to our second episode. I'm Aboozar Sheikhi. I got
Dan Burton.
Ahmad, Hassan.
Good stuff. We're pretty much doing all about new builds now in this episode. All about new builds and anything you need to know. I think we'll try to manage as much as we can in this episode. And if you have any questions, reach out to us. Dan, you want to tell me what's happening, because you were talking about how you're doing.
Yeah. Now's a good time to. It's always a good time, but I'd say now is especially a good time to just weigh your options as a buyer, whether you're looking at something brand new from the builder or something resale. I think we've seen a lot of inventory right now, and we've seen a few big changes with the federal government, where now is a better chance than ever to just really consider your options. And for us as agents, it's always an opportunity to educate the people that we're working with, our clients, on what working with a builder is like versus what dealing with a resale property is like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was always the pros and cons to buying a new build versus resale. That's always
with like the most notable, delays, construction delays.
Right.
You never know with new builds, right? Different deposit structures. Resale homes are a little more, you kind of know what you're getting yourself into right off the bat. You see the home, you see the finishes, you know when the closing date's going to be based on, what is agreed upon between the buyers and sellers. So it's a good topic to cover. And
what do you guys find are some typical questions that you get from buyers, whether they're considering new or resale, and I guess looking specifically through new with this lens?
I think generally it's the being new is the attraction, right? It's like, I want something new. I want something that no one's lived in, right? So that's the initial draw, right? And then the second is the appreciation in value, where you discuss it over and over with them. But I think the second has diminished over the years, especially how it was pre-COVID. You would buy a property, it would get ready 8 months to a year from now, let's say at 300,000, and then by the time you got delivery after that 1 year, it would jump up 50K all of a sudden. But builders caught up to that, and they started adjusting prices. Even now, based on the market activity, they keep tweaking prices.
And are you finding they're valuing the property as like current market? Or
they are. They're not even in the current and what's to come. So they're really, because I feel like several builders took a loss on the COVID hype. They fell behind. Some actually freaked out, started releasing all their property, fearing that everything's gonna collapse. Others just held back, and so it was now they know that it can always be that way, and it can always happen. So now they're like predicting a few months, what's to come. If it's not looking so good, they'll start discounting prices, slashing, so on. If they feel like things are picking up, then they'll start redoing all their list prices and increasing the so that's I guess that was the second thing that was very attractive to most buyers that they come across. Is like, hey, am I getting this much appreciation? Not so much as before, but it's still it's a good thing, as long as you go through all the quote unquote headaches, right? So
I think the other big thing with that, and some of what I was hearing from some clients that I was working with over the last couple of years looking new, price is one thing that we're looking at, and how that's going to be affected in the 8 to 12 months it's going to take to build and close.
Exactly, yeah.
And the other big one was interest rate as well, right? When we were in that climate of 5 being the average interest rate that we were seeing, but knowing that, hey, we've been at 5 for a little while, Bank of Canada likely wants to stimulate this market a little bit. What kind of rate are we going to be looking at 8 to 12 months from now? There's quite nice opportunity, and there might still be at this point in time.
Yeah.
Especially as, you know, some rates are holding steady and others are ticking back up. But overall, I think most mortgage brokers that you chat with are pretty optimistic that rates will drop again in the next, again, that 8 to 12 month time frame.
Yeah, and I mean, a good opportunity for buyers would be jumping on that variable rate if that was the case, especially when it comes to resale homes. You know, you're building equity from now until that 8 to 12 months, so you can see how that could be a positive compared to a new build, for example.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As far as activity, Dan, I was gonna actually ask you as well, because you're out there right now. What's going on with the new builds? What deals do you think are? What's hot, man? What's hot?
We've had a lot of fun in the Orleans new build
Yeah.
market. We found that there was one listing that really caught our attention through MLS. Had been fully built, never lived in, through a great reputable builder. Price was right, builder was right, features were right. Ultimately, it sparked more research through the builder. This one, in this case, was Richcraft.
Okay.
And we found that, you know, they have their typical executive townhome line, though they'd actually released a new line, again, within the last year, called the Thrive Towns.
Okay.
And we found that it was a really cool product through them.
Yeah.
The floor plan, the sizes started a little bit smaller than
Yeah.
your typical executive 2-story towns.
Yeah.
So it meant a little bit more affordability. There was actually a chance for, you know, we're talking townhome with garage, driveway parking, full height basement, backyard. Brand new, you were looking at the smallest size, just over 600,000.
Mm-hmm.
So researching those, we found the right fit, and we're conditional right now with the buyer that I'm working with for that. And then throughout the Orleans market in general, you know, Kaivan had their release in cassette, that's fully sold out now. Richcraft doing great stuff in their Trails Edge area. I know Claridge with their Spring Valley Trails area, it's sold out, but you're seeing some stuff pop back onto MLS now, and in general, I've had good experience with Claridge as a builder.
Good. Yeah, and I feel like it's similar to, again, the price range is slightly more in Colorado North, Morgan's Grant. You know, there's a lot of activity happening up there as well. So yeah, I mean, with Minto, they've slashed their prices as well. So it's just other builders are a bit panicky, right? So it's always, I don't know, strategy wise, it's funny how they decide to lean certain way based on the economy and what's been happening. But and it's always, as to your point with the prices, is to get creative, right?
Yeah.
To come up with that affordable price range for buyers, that you really have to get unique with the style of homes that they're introducing. Because they have to, you know.
The beauty of this is that, you know, I mean, most buyers that I'm working with, if we're looking at a town, the features that these Thrive Towns have are going to come up on the list of what they want, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want the garage, we want the basement, we want the backyard. We don't want to sacrifice any of those things. Boom, we've got it all for you, right?
Yeah. So that's and that's it. And I always say, here's the comparison, right? Besides the, like, you know, or the overall challenges with new builds, you know, you have to consider that builders will get you know, innovative with the styles, but at the same time, because of the costs involved with the labor, with the material, with the land, you know, you're always going to get a little bit less with a new build compared to a resale. It's always been that way, right? They always remodify even the same floor plan. They take away again, tweak the lot size, you know, go again. I'm not gonna name names with some builders, you know, the typical, you know, the depth of a lot was 100 at some point, 100 feet in Ottawa, and then they started getting innovative and cutting it, slashing it to 80 feet, so on. So then you could get a couple more houses out of that piece of lot that they've got, right? So
and we're looking at 70 feet with
70 now. That's nice. You named, man. I mean, people are gonna find out anyways, but
have to edit that.
So just putting them on blast.
Yeah. So I mean that's it. It is what it is. But I think once that happens, if the quality is still there, that's key. Because people can weigh their options and see, look at this is what I'm getting. It's the price that's attractive, as you said. It's checking off a lot of things on my list. Rather, these are the sacrifices, right? With the whole development being in the dust and so on, for the whole neighborhood to get developed, as well as the some of the shortcomings. But I'm getting more of this stuff on my list.
Do you guys find you deal with any typical challenges when you're working with a buyer considering a new build? And if so,
it's the variety of options I find, and sometimes there's so many different rules when it comes to different builders. I heard of one recently where you're buying interest in the land and the deposit is much less, and you can have a bigger deposit when the home closes. Whereas a lot of times you find with new builds, with most of them at least, there's usually like a deposit structure in the first 90 days, right? So, some of them come with bonuses for the finishes, for example. Others don't offer the bonuses. Some come with finished basements, others don't. So it's really having a lot of different options for them to choose from. It makes it a little more complex. And then obviously the builder reputation is key.
Huge, for sure.
I've found two big ones in my experience. One was working with this same buyer and visiting a model home. Great experience, beautiful home, beautifully staged, looking great, had a lot of the right features again for our search. Every little question that we asked, oh no, that's an upgrade. That doesn't come with it, right?
Yeah.
It got to the point where we had asked appliances, cabinetry, all of these little details that add up to be big details, to the point where my buyer asked, are the walls coming with it? Are the windows coming with it? Right? You end up breaking down each and every little piece, and it starts to add up above what price they're asking for, especially when you're in there in person, seeing how beautiful that model home looks like. The other one that I've heard about is development charges. This wasn't with the same client. This wasn't with any client of mine. It's just an experience that I heard about having somebody buy something from scratch, having that home be made, having those development charges not be capped, and then end up with a big surprise.
Are we talking custom now?
We're not talking custom. No,
Okay.
we're talking production builder here.
Okay.
Yeah. Having
So-
those development charges be a big surprise.
And
at
that's
closing.
just the offset, like, so they tossed it over, and they so there
Exactly.
must have been some sort of a clause or something in the agreement,
Exactly.
and then the buyer sometimes they miss that, or so
Yes.
have your lawyer check out all the documents. That's the
Highly
yeah,
recommended.
yeah.
So are you saying that the final purchase price would have an additional charge on it?
That's
Wow.
that's crazy. Yeah.
Can be in the thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars as
Wow.
well. And we're not talking like an extraordinary product here. We're talking like a pretty typical townhome.
Yeah, and that's why I find, like, to your previous point, is that some of the higher end builders, that's why they're more expensive. It's because the base offering on the material they have, the finishings, is higher end compared to the other ones. Yes, there's 20 or 30,000 difference, but once you sit down with so you never look at the base price, is what I'm saying, right? So once you sit down with the other builder who's offering a more attractive price, break it down with the upgrades, as you said, you might end up at the same point. Now you have a better builder and not so,
Yeah.
then which builder are you going to go with, and so on.
To that point too, definitely ask what options are actually available through the builder, right? There's often ones that are, if you want to upgrade one thing, you got to get the whole package. How much does that add up to, and do you really want the other
That's
pieces?
right. Yeah.
And then other builders that won't necessarily even touch certain upgrades that you're asking for or hoping for. Right?
Yeah. One experience I had. So we go in we're into the purchase phase. Everything goes in. After the purchase is done with the builder, you go to the design center, and I always accompany the client sitting down, going through the whole design center, especially with, if it's for example, a single home, more things involved, right? With modifications. So at one point, my client wanted a wall, like a drywall, removed. This is not a structural. It's something that's cosmetic. So then they had to pay for that. So it's like, I'm literally not wanting you to do the labor, put on the materials for that wall, and I have to pay for that. So, and this is nothing they would have to go back to the city to modify. Sometimes you do with structurals, they literally have to go back to the city. With the design and everything, it needs the approval stamp, come back. But this wasn't the case, and you still have to pay for that. So it's interesting. They make most of their money off the upgrades, right? You have to give it to them, but that was an interesting thing, So yeah.
What are some big builders out right now? Like, what are you guys seeing for different projects? Like, who's really taking the cake?
Yeah, I think if you want options with styles of homes, many different locations, I think you got to look at big ones like Minto, Mattamy. If you name a neighborhood of any of the suburbs, there's a good chance that either Minto or Mattamy is building there.
Right.
Other builders, they may gravitate towards just 2 or 3 neighborhoods. Like, I think, for example, EQ is in Orleans, Findlay Creek, Kemptville, off the top of my head.
EQ's a really great builder.
Yeah. Some other companies regional, but pretty much I would say they're one of the higher end builders. And that's it too. I think as what you guys are pointing out to is I think mostly it is what it is. It's just price dictates at the end of the day, but you really have to, break it down for yourself to see what you're getting.
Sometimes that price and I guess quality of build go hand in hand with the location that you're looking at, right?
Oh yeah.
Like I've had a pretty tight eye on the Riverside South market over the last couple of years. Yeah. And that one is just one that's been taking off. And the builders there are HN, Urbandale, Ridgecraft, Cardell, again off the top of my head, which are all pretty well known, pretty established, pretty high quality builders here in a great high quality neighborhood. Right.
So South, all in all, South is taking off. Like even I'm looking at Findlay Creek as well. Like with Tamarack Tartan, they really, like the quality's there. I'm very impressed. I could say, because I'm really, picky about even the finishing touches with the drywalls and everything once it comes out. And it was, I could say, they do very well with the finishing.
Where in the South here? Is it the Greeley area or?
Findlay Creek.
Findlay Creek.
Yeah, Findlay Creek. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Regulations around new builds, incentives, and so on. I know the government was, dancing around the big one.
Yeah.
So, do you want to talk about that?
GST.
So.
Yeah. That's big news as of a very recent development here in Canada in general. I think end of May, federal government brought GST rebate onto the table. I believe it's going through certain approval processes. So I think it's a great opportunity for buyers that have been looking, especially, again, after that end of May timeline, right up until now, and now going forward. It could be a significant amount of savings. The idea is the government is going to remove some of the tax and or red tape that it takes to get new home built, hence the GST portion of it. And with that, it's going to help improve affordability for the end user, the purchaser or investor purchasing the home. There are some qualifications for it, so you do need to be a first-time home buyer. First-time home buyer does mean you haven't owned a home in just the last 4 years. So if you did, for example, purchase 10 plus years ago, rent for the last handful of years, you may qualify that again. So it's a nice little touch to look into. But it's the number that I'm hearing is that it's going to be up to a 5% reduction.
So essentially, this is the rebate that it would have to be paid out by the builder. Hence, it's impacting the price. Correct? Is that?
From what I'm hearing, and again, so it's going through approvals.
Yeah, yeah.
Nobody has actually gotten this money back,
Yeah,
even
yeah.
if you entered into the APS, the agreement of purchase and sale, after the date that it
It's
started.
just you have to apply.
Closed already.
Okay.
You apply it, and from my understanding, is that it's going to come back at tax time. Once you've filed your taxes, once you've brought up the fact that you qualify for this, it'll come back to you in the amount of a rebate through the CRA.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, anything that helps, I guess. Once the rates drop, hopefully maybe another 0.75 in the next, who knows,
Nice.
next couple of months, because it's uncertainty right now. But once that happens, and hand in hand with these sort of incentives, and again, with the government, I guess, pushing or stepping forward with providing more benefits or leniency for builders, right? I think that's key for them to have that confidence to continue building, and
it goes hand in hand. So while this is applicable for first-time home buyers, builder doesn't want to lose out on any potential sales. Sure. Absolutely, I would expect some price reductions, and I think there may have already been some that have happened, especially with some big builders here. So.
And I think the instance I mentioned with Minto, that was it. I think they smelt the movement, and they're like, okay, this is what's gonna happen. So hence, this is they went ahead with the drop. So we can start wrapping up this episode. Do you guys have anything you want to tell joke, Dan? You have You're not prepared this episode.
That's
put you on the spot.
That's for next episode, guys. So you'll have to tune in to the next one. Aboozar will definitely have a joke for us.
There you go.
No, pleasure catching up with you guys.
Yeah, same.
I know. I know when we're looking at new build considerations, it's all about comparing it to resale. It's all about knowing the advantages and what you're getting into, challenges, and then any regulations around it. Quality is often a huge thing as well.
Absolutely.
So it's great catching up with you guys. And all
same, and any questions, you can always reach out to us, and we'll just sit down for you. And there's not a lot of time with the podcast, but just to go through it and break it down for you. We'd be happy to do that. Ahmad, anything to add?
Yeah, it was great catching up with
good?
you guys.
Good stuff?
Yeah.
Until the next episode?
Awesome. Until the next
see you guys
episode.
later. Cheers.
All right.
Okay.